Hey guys, Ash here coming at you today playing three Musketeer decks. You can see the first one here has no legendary cards. What I'm going to do is hop into a tournament here and kind of alternate between the 3 decks for at least 2 matches each. Maybe we'll go a little bit longer. You guys seem to like this sort of episode. You can see the first one was no legendaries, the second one has a minor, and the third one only has the princess for legendary. So we'll start with the one with no legendary cards, but also today in the first couple matches as I play, I'll try to multitask. I'll do the best I can. No promises at excellent gameplay on the first match or two as we go over quite a bit of new information out there in the community today from a few different sources. So let me name my sources first, as I always do before I get into the information. You can see, by the way, in the background, I'll be playing this deck, the first deck here, and this one is really an ideal first deck to really get to know the Three Musketeer card. Maybe if you just got it, you can go ahead and try a deck like this. It's very simple. You're relying on the elixir collector to maintain the elixir advantage and then hopefully surprise your opponent with the Three Musketeers once you see what spells they have in order to ascertain how to best play and defend and time your Musketeer placement. So as I play this deck, let's get into this new information here. So this is a combination of sorts from Reddit, from the Supercell forums by Tim, the community manager, a post by Tim, and also a video just released by Galadon, who just met with the Clash Royale team when he was over in Finland for Clash of Clans. So what I basically want to do is infuse some information from all 3 of those sources, and I'll also be sure to link the video from Galadon, link the Reddit post that I reference, and also link the forum posts, all in the information below in the video description if you want to read or watch Galadon's video for more information about those topics. And then we'll kind of cover more Three Musketeer strategy tips throughout the end of this episode in this tournament. So right now you can see I'm just working on maintaining my elixir advantage, kind of waiting it out right now for the last minute so I can really go hard with the Three Musketeer card. But anyway, let's get to this new information about the upcoming update in Clash Royale. So Galadon specifically mentions in his video that there's going to be a few updates, plural, meaning 2 or more updates coming soon in Clash Royale. There were no dates, and I don't know of any dates so far on the ETA on these updates. I know Clash of Clans has one coming mid-September, so maybe it will be around the same time with Clash Royale. We'll have to wait and see. So let's start out with the buffs. So Galadon mentioned in his video that 3 cards are very, very likely to see buffs on the next update, and those are the Log, the Baby Dragon, and Archers. So Log, Baby Dragon, and Archers. He speculates further about why these cards are going to receive buffs, but certainly the Log and the Baby Dragon definitely need it. I think Archers are already undervalued, so if they do indeed get a buff, I think they'll present a really big value in the game if that indeed happens. And then he also says a big priority, and Tim alluded to this on the forum post, he didn't actually allude to it, he flat out said it, was totally revamping tournaments. So I don't want to put words in anybody's mouths. By the way, guys, 3 Crown, what up? Good start to the episode, right? So I don't want to put words in anybody's mouths, but I think it's very safe to say that if you asked the Clash Royale team if they are happy with tournaments, I think they would say no. So I don't think that they're very happy at all, just like the majority of the entire Clash Royale community with how tournaments played over and how they've kind of evolved inside the game. As time has gone by, they're more and more corrupt with win trading and tie trading in tournaments, and there's actually buying and selling in a black market of tournaments. I think that all will be done away with, but most importantly, just to the average person who doesn't really care too much about that stuff, I think most importantly, the prizes are way off. I think that the amount of time invested into a tournament is nowhere near to equal the prizes of the tournament. I think that the prize values or the prize currency is way off. I think if you need to pay gems to host a tournament and you can't even kick anybody, I mean, first of all, let the creator of the tournament kick somebody if they want to. I mean, that should be the most obvious thing here, right? But moving on, I think if you have to pay money to actual money, actual gems to host a tournament, I think at the very least the prize money should also be gems. I think that it needs to be the same currency to have it economically actually make sense and be in any way advantageous to the player. At least that gives gives them the autonomy to purchase whatever cards they want to for their gems, instead to be total victims of chance inside a pretty lousy and lackluster chest, especially in the more affordable tournament range prices. So anyway, I'm positive that the team is planning on totally reworking and totally revamping what tournaments look like. I think that once we actually see the new product, the new finished product of tournaments, hopefully we won't even recognize them, and they'll be much more entertaining for everybody. Now, this is actually new information here regarding today's update. So today, some of you may or may not have noticed that a Clash Royale team announced that they're making some small adjustment to the trophy system to make it a little bit easier to progress from Arena 4 to Arena 6. So what does that mean exactly? Well, it's really easy to understand. Basically, before today's little mini update or mini change to the trophy system, the trophy range from 0 when you're just starting out the game as a new player all the way to 1,000 cups was basically not a zero-sum game. So if you lose the match, you weren't going to lose as many trophies as the winner stood to gain in that very same match. And that's how it was up to 1,000 trophies, but then when you get to 1,000, you would always lose the same amount of trophies or win the same amount of trophies as your opponent. Now that is still the system, but they changed the floor from 1,000 cups to 2,000 cups. So basically it does indeed make it easier to progress through arenas 4, 5, and 6 because the losses don't hurt you as much and the wins still benefit you as much as they used to. So one may make the valid argument that, Ash, who really cares about these changes? I mean, all they're doing is prolonging the amount of time or trophies it takes before someone does reach that wall to where the only thing that will really help them progress any further is money. But I guess the counter argument to that would be, sure, this does not fix the trophy system, and there's plenty to gripe about in the trophy system, as I almost lose this match here, by the way, guys. But there's a lot to complain about in the trophy system, but one thing that you really can't complain about this change because it allows those players who are struggling in Arena 4, 5, and 6 to progress a little bit further, at least to unlock some more cards that you can only unlock in Arena 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I think I just screwed up there, guys. I played the Three Musketeers a little bit too late, and I think he's going to win. Yes, he does. Ooh, I should have had that one. That was an awful loss. Awful loss on my part, as I've been very great at demonstrating. I absolutely suck when I'm trying to play and talk about things other than the match I'm playing, but who cares? We're all going to lose from time to time. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to throw that fireball in here because I think that I don't really need the knight in that deck. I mean, I already have the giant anyway. I'm not sure why I would need the knight. Now, I should mention that I got all three of these decks from either tournament finishers in the top 10 on local tournaments or tournaments that I've hosted before, or from my clanmates who had success with them. So they're not just totally random, but we will continue to make adjustments as we see fit throughout the video today. So moving on to more update talk or whatever, I think I covered pretty much everything Galadon mentioned. Oh, there was one other thing that he mentioned off his conversation with the dev team. He said that the team plans on totally revamping and reworking the training camp system, which I'm sure we can pretty much all agree is totally worthless and useless right now. I mean, it doesn't really test any of your skill. The best way I find on testing your skill and not having it count would be, ooh, Royal Giant coming at us, Royal Giant coming at us, would be just going in the ladder play if you can, or if you're trying to push trophies, the best way is just doing friendly matches, but certainly not going to training camp and fighting those same lackluster trainers over and over again. That, at least it doesn't help me. I've never done that, so I think that will be a welcome improvement to the game, especially for more casual or newer players. And hey, if they do well enough in the whole revamp, it could be really useful to expert or more competitive players. So depending on how they do that, it could be a really useful tool to kind of refine and hone your skills with certain type of decks. So that should be interesting to see as well. Now, moving on with the news here, we have a little bit of old news and new news to just touch base on here. Old news is legendary cards easier to get. The team is still working on that, and I actually touched base with the team today as well, and they did reiterate that that is certainly still their highest priority, to find a way to allow more access or easier access to legendary cards for the average players, especially free-to-play players, without devaluing them to the point where people who already have spent money or, you know, opened hundreds of chests feel like they've become so common now that it's kind of worthless or incredibly degraded the value of their investment that they made into the legendary cards. So I think that's kind of the tightrope that the team is currently trying to navigate right now, and hey, maybe eventually, hopefully, we'll be seeing some real positive changes. I think most importantly and ideally, any player who plays in a tournament would feasibly have access to any other card that every other player plays in a tournament, and I know that might not be a perfect solution, and there's plenty of problems in that plan as well, but as you can see, I'm getting a really big push here coming in the left. He's probably going to fireball and totally ruin it, and instead he zaps, but I did get that tower down, so that was pretty good there. But back to my point, guys, I'm not sure if that's the perfect solution, just making every card available, or at least in tournament play, allowing every player to play with the cards that should be unlocked at the arena that they've achieved so far in ladder play would be really nice. So even if the cards aren't leveled up per se, at least they'd have access to every card, and as you guys know, with a level 1 legendary cap, that's all you need, is just access to the cards if you've reached that arena, because as it stands, a free-to-play player could be waiting 6 months in order to actually play with the minor card, and it's through no fault of their own. They could be the most active player in the world, but just due to bad luck, as you can see, fresh match here. We're 2-1 so far with the decks. This is our 4th battle, and this is a repeat of the cycle here, so this is going to be the free-to-play deck here, and we'll see if we can't go ahead and win another match here and make it 3-1 on the episode. So let's see what we can do here. He came out pretty strong out the gate there, and look at all the damage he did to my left tower. Was not expecting that, but there is one more point to get into before we actually go ahead and get into the play-by-play here, guys, and that is Galadon mentioned that he strongly suspects that the next update will see a raise in the trophy floor for reset day from 3,000 cups to 4,000 cups, and basically that makes a lot of sense. You know, you kind of see this one coming, because as more and more players get higher and higher in terms of trophies, and it becomes more and more saturated at the top there, I think that reset day is posing a greater and greater concern and issue for players than it did previously, because there's thousands of level 13s and thousands of level 8s in Legendary Arena, and they're basically going head to head in a pretty frustrating cycle for the lower level people in the first 2 or 3 or 4 days after reset day. So that should help in that regard as well. But the biggest problem with the game for me overall, and I don't want to be overly negative because I still am enjoying the game, but the biggest problem that I feel needs to be addressed in the entire game, even bigger than tournaments in my opinion, really just is the sense of, I don't know if, you know, I kind of feel like Clash Royale right now is kind of where Clash of Clans was before Clan Wars, right? So like, besides or beyond trophy pushing, there's not a heck of a lot to do here. So the Inferno Tower is going to take down my Giant, not a big fan of that, and I don't get any damage done, and I'm going to go ahead and reload this Elixir Collector here. But yeah, getting back to my point, guys, I don't know. I just feel like there's something missing in the game after you kind of reach your personal limit in trophies based on your skill and your card levels. So after you reach that limit, let's just say it's 3,500 trophies, you know, sometimes you can get to 3,600, sometimes only 3,400 after the season's over, but other than that, you're kind of doing the same cycle over and over again, and there doesn't really seem like there's much of an end game in the game right now. I mean, it's not like Clash of Clans where you're just trying to max out something. Maxing out your deck in Clash Royale takes close to like 20 years if you're not spending money, whereas like if, for example, in Clash of Clans, even though it does take years to max out your account, you can kind of see the end road, and you can always try to have goals to set for yourself, but it's hard to set a goal, for example, to get your barbarians to level 13, because you know that's going to take 6 years, and you know nothing you can do will help you get it any faster. It's not like you can have your own strategy besides requesting for certain cards. There's nothing else you have as a player to kind of take things into your own hands and decide how you want to play the game. So I do feel like there's probably going to be a new feature added to the game just based on conversations with the team, not anytime real soon. I think that's probably coming in the next year or so. I think right now what we're going to see is a revamping, a reworking of tournaments, and then they're going to go ahead and probably add new cards, usually the same type of stuff that we've been seeing for a long time in the first, 8 months or so the game's been around. And I think long term, I would really expect something kind of game-changing in terms of a new feature being added to the game. Maybe it will come in the tournament feature. Maybe it will be some sort of a round-robin type tournament with brackets and stuff like that, or maybe it will be some sort of a clan war feature. By the way, guys, look at this. 7 hit points on my right tower. Excuse me for 1 second here. I'm going to 3 Musketeer and zap and just hope for the best here. All he needs is a zap, and it is down. Whoa! That was pretty epic. I don't think I've ever had less than 10 hit points on a tower for that long there. But wow, good luck. Good luck for sure. That was a really fun match there. So yeah, getting back to the updates, guys, I guess that's pretty much going to conclude the update part of this video. For the rest, we'll just kind of cover these 3 Musketeer decks a little bit more in depth. I mean, I talked to you guys probably, probably a little bit ad nauseum by this point on what I think the game needs to see in order to make it viable long-term and make it better long-term for everybody. In the meantime, just enjoying the game that we do have as much as I can. So, and part of the reason I do this, or part of the way I enjoy it, is by hosting these daily tournaments, which I really, really enjoy. I can't always play in them, but with the ones that I do play in, and from the matches that I do see in them, the competition is getting better and better and better, and just thanks so much to all of you guys who take part in them. So this is, again, the Ice Spirit version of the deck, and it looks like we're playing against another giant deck. It's interesting when we go against these giant decks. You got to assume they're playing Poison as well, and maybe Sparky. It could be a lot of options. All we've seen so far, obviously, is the Giant and the Musketeer. So let's play our 3 Musketeers. I don't like to show our hand this early in the match, but this is kind of the only option in terms of countering that Musketeer. He says, well played. Let's give him the thumbs up, and let's try to get a win against this guy here. He's pretty high in trophies, higher than I am, so I would stand to gain a lot if I was able to pick up this W. That was well played, Valkyrie here. Obviously, Valkyrie Zap is a very, very powerful counter to 3 Musketeers, and they win. Basically, no matter what they play to counter your 3 Musketeers, they're going to win on that value trait, so that's your big danger. The big plus with 3 Musketeers is really twofold. Number one is they can do a ton of damage in a very short amount of time if the opponent doesn't have a good counter up. Number two is once you get 1 tower down with 3 Musketeers, the second tower is incredibly easy to take down if you place the Musketeers in that sweet spot right in the center of your opponent's little map there, because immediately they'll start firing on that second tower right off the bat. So the 3 Musketeers is a great card if you already have a 1 tower advantage on your opponent. So basically it gets better the better that you do. So anyway, 3 Musketeers here. The downside is very apparent, right? It's very easy to counter 3 Musketeers using a number of various methods, and you're always going to lose a lot of elixir in the trade. For example, here he used a Zap and a Mini P.E.K.K.A, took down all my Musketeers, my 3 Musketeers, and now he's coming at me with a Musketeer, a Mini P.E.K.K.A, and a Giant of his own. It looks like I'm probably going to be able to stop him. Maybe I'm not. It looks like he's getting 2 or 3 hits in with his Giant, so we don't like that at all. You can see why this guy has more cups than me right now, because he's a pretty good player. So again, we're going to try the 3 Musketeer combo here. Hopefully, this Giant eats up enough of the attention by the Mini P.E.K.K.A and the Musketeer for me to get at least a few hits, but I'm sensing maybe a Valkyrie. Is the Valkyrie? There it is. The Zap Valkyrie, guys. That is so hard to combat, and I am -3 on that elixir trade, unfortunately. That's the thing about the 3 Musketeers. They can totally win you a ton of matches, and they can also totally lose you a ton of matches. There is no worse feeling than having a 3 Musketeers played on the board and having your opponent fireball them for a 4 to 9 elixir trade. That is not what you're looking for at all with this deck. So I'm going to fireball this mass of troops coming at me. I'm going to have to use a Zap here. A little bit scared of that Mini P.E.K.K.A. I knew if 1 shot got off on me, I'd be totally toast. So going to have to use Barbarians here to counter this Valkyrie, although I only lose about 25 to 50% hit points on a couple of my Barbarians, so that wasn't that bad here. It looks like my Giant's going to get to this tower. I'm going to go ahead and fireball, taking down whatever he counters, and this might be enough, guys. This Giant on a tower I zapped just to help out. I'm going to use a Princess to get maybe 1 or 2 shots in, and that's going to give me the W. So that was pretty good there. You can see, I think we're, what, 3-1 right now, or 4-1? I think we're 4-1 right now, but either way, you can kind of get a feel how boom or bust these decks can be with a Three Musketeer card in it, and certainly how powerful they can be if things do work in your favor. So now we're in 7th place. I think maybe if we can only have that one loss, we might be able to win this tournament. So we'll see how we do. I'll let you guys know in the comment section how I actually did, because I'm probably not going to bring you the entire hour tournament. I think that would make for a laborious video to get through, maybe you guys would like that. I'm not sure. Let me know if you would like to see a full tournament. We can kind of see how we do one time, maybe. I'm going to go ahead and make a zap right in the middle of this skeleton army. That way I give my tower time to shoot down all of these skeletons here. Actually, my princess probably could have taken care of it, but hey, rather be safe than sorry. So this is the minor variation of this Three Musketeer deck in today's episode. The only deck that actually includes the minor. And when you're playing the minor, guys, make sure you're super aggressive against the enemy's elixir collectors. I mean, that's one of the reasons that this is the only deck that we're playing today with the Three Musketeers that does not have an elixir collector in it, because we can actually keep the score relatively even in terms of elixir advantage using our minor. Every time the opponent plays a 5 elixir cost elixir collector, we'll be ready with a 3 elixir cost minor to hopefully negate that value that they'd be achieving with the elixir collector. So obviously, if we can take down 3/5 of the elixir collector health with the minor, it's still an even trade. So basically, as long as you can get 3 hits on that elixir collector, you're looking pretty good with the minor to elixir collector trade. If your minor can take down an entire elixir collector, then you're looking super good in terms of that value trade there, especially if you can get a hit or 2 off the tower as well. So this is an interesting deck that we're going against here. I kind of dropped the ball on that skeleton army there, but we already had the tower lead, and I wanted to put down the Three Musketeers against this balloon and lava hound combo here, and he actually gets 1 hit because of that rage spell with the balloon, even though I had the Three Musketeers on the board there. So I'm going to go ahead and put down the fire spirit and the princess. Ooh, that was a good arrow there, but I'm still going to get a few shots on that left tower, you can see, with the musketeer and with the fire spirit. So that was really solid here. So now all we have to do really is just defend and not screw up, and we should have this. But you know he's going to be coming at me with the lava hound, and you know what, let's just go super aggressive here against his king tower. And we have the mini P.E.K.K.A on the tower already. We have the zap. I probably should have used the zap on the other side. I don't know what I was thinking there. That was a poor play on my part. I should have used the zap against that minion horde there, not against the near the barbarian. So this is a lot coming at me here in the right, and then he used the arrows. This is not good. And then, oh no, I'm putting the Three Musketeers down. He's definitely going to take, he definitely took down my right tower there, but he's not going to get anywhere close to my king tower. So as long as we just don't screw this up in the last 20 seconds here, we should be good to go. Let's go ahead and again go aggressively on the king tower here. We know he wants to get one of those big aggressive pushes going, but it looks like, thankfully, time is going to tick off the clock here as we pull out the victory. But things got a little bit close there towards the end. But thankfully, we were able to pull out the victory. So guys, you know, I'm sure you probably saw on the screen there my battery at 10%. So I am going to cut off this video today. Hope you enjoyed, you know, getting some update news, talking about the game a little bit, and enjoyed the gameplay. Good luck if you try any of these decks, guys. I will say that personally, I'm the biggest fan of the minor variation of these decks from the 3 that we saw today, but they can all certainly be effective. So guys, give them a try. Let me know how you do in the comments below, and thanks so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.